Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here coming to you live from Mesa in Arizona. I would be on my laptop, but for some reason it will not let me do a Facebook Live on my laptop today. Who knows? So here we are. So how was your Shake It Up Saturday? Was it a super fantastic sparkling day? We had an amazing day. So as I said in this morning's one, hang on, I'm just going to readjust here. As I said in this morning's one, we got off to we had a shake up on our start of the day. I woke up at 4:30. I laid in bed and read until 8 o'clock. I got up, I had breakfast. Then around 9:45, I decided I'm going to have a shower, get dressed, and we'll go for our walk. And that's when Zeffy finally emerged. So we had a great start to the day. It was awesome. A nice lazy start. And I was trying to remember the last time I had a lazy start on a Saturday. And I can't remember the last time I had a lazy start on a Saturday. But we've had a very interesting day. So I got so with Good Sam, I have extended warranty on sparkles. And I thought, my understanding was they said if the vehicle's over 15 years old, we can't put it under the extended warranty. And I thought, okay. But then they sent me an email stating that my warranty is due to expire, which is in May. It expires in May. And that it was time to renew. So I'm like, oh, maybe I can. Well, let's just go do the renewal process and see what happens. So I'm doing the renewal process. My phone rings after I've gone through a couple of screens and that to get the quote. And it's this guy from Good Sam Extended Warranty saying, why are you doing a quote? He says, hey, we're here. We just noticed you put a quote through, but we've already got you on renewal in May on automatic renewal. And it's at this price and all of this sort of stuff. And he says, you don't need to go generate another quote because you're going to end up paying more if you accept that quote than your renewal price. And there was like about a $800 difference between what I'm renewed to pay, because they lock in they locked in the price that I had when I 2 years ago when I first got the warranty. That price is locked in. And so then I'm reading like the fine print. If it's a new extended warranty on a vehicle you've just purchased, the vehicle has to be under 18 years, but you can renew it up until it hits 18 years or 250,000 miles, whichever comes first. I'm like, yes, awesome. So I was like, well, I don't even need to worry about that. And then I thought, I'm going to need to change the credit card that's on file because I don't use that one anymore. And they're like, that's okay. Just call customer service on Monday and they can take care of that for you. I'm like, perfect, thank you. Oh, and by the way, your warranty expires on the 7th of May. I'm like, sweet. So that was the first thing that happened today. The second thing that happened is I was booking. I sent the notification in for an RV park to move to on Tuesday, and it's one of those ones where you have to submit the form, and then they call you back and let you know whether or not you can have it. And so I submitted everything. I read everything on their page, everything. Because I like to see, is there any restriction on the age of the vehicle? Do they allow dogs? Do they have any breeds they don't allow? And so I got this phone call and they said, we're just calling to let you know that we have to refuse your reservation. And I said, oh, may I ask why? And they said, oh, because you have a German Shepherd. I said, I have a mini German Shepherd. She's all of 32 pounds. And I said, she's very small. She's a small, mid-sized dog. And, oh no, it's a German Shepherd, so we don't accept German Shepherds here. And I'm like, where on your website does that actually state that? And she's like, what do you mean? I said, nowhere on the site does it state that German Shepherds are not allowed there. I said, you've got Chows, which I thought that's weird. You've got Dobermans, which I understood. Pits, which I understand that too. And there was another one which I thought, really? They got that one on there? And I can't remember what it was, but I told her at the time, I said, nowhere does it mention German Shepherds. And she says, well, that's our policy and we don't. And I said, where is your policy online? I said, because you need to make these things clear before people book with you. And they said, well, if you can send us, and I said, she's just a small dog. I said, I can send you a photograph if you like. Oh, okay, well, that'll be fine. You can send us a photograph so we can have a look at her. And they gave me the email address. She said, oh, and hang on to that email address because we'll need pictures of your RV because it's over 10 years old. And I'm like, hang on. I said, where on your website does it state that that is a restriction? And she's like, oh, it's on our website. I said, no, it's not. I said, you've got a list of all the requirements for making a reservation. Nowhere in there does it state that the vehicle has to be 10 years or younger. If it's over 10 years, it needs approval. I said, so you can't, I said, it's number one, you can't banish me because of my dog, because it doesn't state that on your site at all. And number two, you can't refuse my reservation because of the age of my vehicle. Well, if you can send us some pictures of it, she said about 70% of the vehicles that we have here are over 10 years old, and people have no problem sending pictures in. And I'm like, whatever. So I thought, screw this. So I got this picture of Zeffie sitting on the co-captain's seat. So they got a size reference, because I thought if I just send a picture of her, they'll probably go, oh yeah, she's a big dog. So I put there, I said, here is a picture of my dog, Zeffie. She is 2 years old. She is fully grown. She is a mini German Shepherd. And as you can see, she's sitting on she's sitting in the passenger seat of a Fleetwood Bounder, just to give you some size reference, and she is fully grown. She weighs 32 pounds. And I said, she is a friendly dog. She loves to play with other dogs. She is not aggressive. I said, so, and so I stated my case there. And I said, oh, and by the way, here are some pictures of my RV that were taken on September the 30th of 2020 when I arrived here at the campground where I currently am. And so I put a couple of pictures of Sparkles in there as well so that they could see Sparkles. And I haven't heard anything back from them since then. And I don't have any... Nope, I don't have any. I just quickly checked. No emails from them at all. So that would be interesting to see what happens if I hear back from them or anything like that. So I just quickly checked that. No emails there at all. So I'm sort of like, okay, this is going to be interesting because they can't deny me on the age of my vehicle because there is nowhere. And I even went in and I took screenshots of where they have the reservation information, where they have the pet information. I took screenshots of all of that. So if they then come back to me and say, oh, well, it's here on this page. No, it's not, because I have a date and stamped. So sort of like, that's really stuffy to do that. If RV parks will not accept vehicles over 10 years old except by manager agreement or whatever, they need to state that on the website. And because otherwise, that's one thing, that's one of the first things I look for when I'm looking at a campground. I go through all of their policies and everything else. If they have their policies, but they did not have that little button that said terms and conditions or policies, did not have that. And I took screenshots of all the bottom of the screen where you usually find all of that stuff, about us and all of that. Couldn't find it anywhere on their site. So I took screenshots of different areas of their websites. They can't come back and say, well, look, it's written right here. And I go, no, it wasn't. Because here's where you called me, according to my phone log. This is when you called me. This is when I went in and took the screenshots. And now you're telling me it's on there. So we will see. I will keep you posted on that one. And then I thought, if they're going to be that stuffy about that and not tell people ahead of time, that's just not right. So because they don't have it listed on their website and they have no terms and conditions or policies listed there about that, they cannot turn around and say, oh, you can't come in here because your vehicle's too old. It's sort of like, no, you can't do that. But anyway, I've got backup places anyway, so I just thought, maybe, yeah. So today we had a busy day. We got the trash run done. We got all those boxes that I had in here out. I've got 2 boxes left sitting in here, but it's got my new sewer hose and attachments in it, which I'm going to put in the locker on Tuesday when I disconnect the old sewer hose. So dump the old sewer hose, put the new stuff in there so it's ready to go when we get to our new place, because I'll do a dump on Tuesday morning before we leave, and then I can just detach that hose and go, because there's nowhere to put it in the locker right now. With the way the locker's set up, there's nowhere to put all of that, the hoses and the attachments in there right now while everything's hooked up. So Tuesday morning we'll do a dump. That old hose will go directly into the trash can, and the new hose will get put in there, and we'll take the boxes over at that point as well. So got all the lockers on the passenger side reorganized. And I was sort of like, oh my gosh, this fits this way. Why have I got it that way for? So there was a lot of rearranging of stuff in there too. And of course I have my big box, which have my 6-8 packs of the toilet paper. So 5 of them are now in the locker. 1 stays inside. We always have 1 inside and the rest in the locker. So that all got put in there. We got it all cleaned out. Got rid of any trash that was in there. So all my lockers got cleaned out. And then I've got a box that sits in one of them. It's a container that sits in there. It's got all of Zeffie's stuff in it. And I suddenly looked and I went, oh, her birthday present's in there. So I've brought it inside to reorganize. And because I've got a few bags from PetSmart with her new treats and stuff in it. And so I need to reorganize all of her treat basket and her storage basket as well. So that's all going to get done. Her toy basket is actually going to be, I'm actually going to go through that because there's some stuff in there that needs to be tossed because it's just, she's shredded it so much. Oh, she's asleep now. She's up on the dashboard asleep. So I've got that I'm going to do tonight. And then I had a locker that had broken lock. The latches were broken on it, so it wouldn't actually lock. Oh, it would lock, but you could just go and lift up the lid. So I went to get all that done, got it all dismantled, except for being able to take the actual broken latch piece out, because I needed a square-headed bit for the screwdriver. I was like, what the heck? And so my neighbour happened to be out in his little workshop area. So I said, hey, you don't happen to have... Oh, he came over to say hi to Zeffie. I said, you don't happen to have a square-headed screwdriver, do you? I said, I've got all the different ones, like the star-shaped ones. I've got the hexagonal ones. I've got the octagonal ones. I've got the Allen keys. I said, I've got the flatheads. I've got the Phillips, but I don't have a square-headed bit. And so he comes over, has a look, and he goes, yeah, I got one of those. So he goes over and brings it over. We get all unscrewed and everything else. I put the new locks in and get one of the new Phillips head screws to put in there. I start putting it in there, and all of a sudden the thing just goes, the head just goes and breaks off. And I'm like, what the hell? Now I've got this screw that's about this long sticking out of the latch. And I'm like, how the hell am I going to get that out? And I'm like looking at my tools. I'm going, I don't have anything. So I go over to John and says, can I borrow that? Because I'd already taken the square head bit back. I said, can I borrow that square head bit again, please? I said, I need to put the old screws back in. And then how do I get rid of a screw where this happened? And I show him the head of the screw. He says, well, you can't. I said, well, there's about this much of the screw sticking out. So how do I get that out? And he says, I'll be over in a minute and have a look. I said, thank you. And so I went and got the other 3 screws put in with the old ones. And then he comes over and I don't even know what device he had. He had something that had a screw thingy on it. It clamped onto the screw. It had a little tightening thingamy-bob at the bottom there, and I have no idea what type of tool it was. But he got it out, and because there was only like about this much that was actually in there. And he said, do you have the old screws? I said, yeah. And he said, well, just put that back in. I said, that's what I've done with the other 3. So I put it back in there, and he says, not actually the size of the screw, it's the thread, because the new screws had a wider thread than the old screws did. So fortunately the old screws were okay. So now I have to get square head bits, because I have another couple of locks that have now broken off, and they've got the same type of thing, and I need to get the new locks for the new latches for those as well. So it's been a very busy. I came in, my hands are all dry at the moment because I came in and they were black. Yes, they got cleaned, and I just need to put some hand lotion on it because it's very, very dry around here. And so we've had a very productive day outside. The past driver's side cabinets lockers are basically done anyway. I just had to put the chairs back into their carry cases along with the footstool. I did that last night while I was draining the tanks. And then I've got some extra Reflectix that's inside here that I'm going to take and put into that locker down there as well, because it's the one that will cover the passenger's window and the kitchen window and the door and the window next to the door. So I have enough left to do those, and it just depends which way around our RV ends up being parked. Fortunately for us, it's always been I like the passenger side being on the north side, because then I don't have to worry about the sun streaming on there and having a windy day where it's going to be beating up against the side here where the refrigerator is, because that's not good for the RV. So it's worked out really well. So we have, and I didn't get to do laundry today. I didn't get to do that, but I've got my pink wagon out. It's folded up underneath the RV with Zeffie's bed, outdoor bed sitting on it, because the outdoor bed can't come until a day of travel. And tomorrow we will go do some laundry, and I get to go to my friend Judy's place and see her photographs from Africa. So I'm looking forward to that. And so it's been a very busy day. I am exhausted. Zeffie's exhausted. She's already up in her bed. She came with me when I went to dump the trash, of course, because she had to do that. And because the dumpster was right by the dog park, I let her go run around for a bit in there, so I can actually wait a bit before I take her for an evening walk. But it's been a beautiful day outside. It was in the 60s. Oh, and I got to meet my neighbour on my driver's side, because I went to open up the window to let the air in today, and there's no RV there, yet she's sitting there in an outdoor chair. She's got this laundry sitting there with her. Her car is there, and all the connections, like the hoses, the power, is all sitting over the far side, and there's no RV. And I looked out and I said, are you missing something? And her husband had taken the RV off to get propane while she was doing the laundry, and she thought he would be back by the time that she got back from doing the laundry. And it turned out that he had to go to like a couple of different places to get the propane because of stuff that was happening at one of the places or something. So he finally came back, but we had a good chat and talk, and that's a brand new RV that they've just picked up. They came down for Oregon to pick it up, and she said, "Oh, had we known, we could be able to stay longer and all this." And I said, "Well, you're retired. Why can't you?" She said, "Oh, well, I've got bills at home that are going to need to be paid. I've got some that are on that can be paid online, that are set up to pay online, but I've got some that come to the house and that sort of thing. And I've got a friend picking up the mail." I said, "Well, what would your friend be able to open those bills and scan them for you, and you can set up the e-pay for while you're down here? So if you want to stay longer, you can, because they're actually waiting on the dealer to bring in some parts that were missing when they did the walkthrough. There were some parts missing, and so they're having to wait for those parts, and the parts came in, and they're scheduled to come in Tuesday, but who knows what will happen. And they're hoping to leave on Thursday, but of course Oregon just got a big dumping of snow up there apparently, and they were going to go through this pass. And I said, well, what app do you use for drive when you're traveling in your RV? Because I've had several RVs. And she said, "Oh, we just use the Google Maps." I said, "Yeah." I said, "Nope." I said, "I use something like RV Trip Wizard," and explained to her what it was, how it would give her the correct driving times, and it would help them avoid any hazards along the way. And so explain how I use the app and how I can set it up for doing the campground bunny hopping thing. And she's like, "Oh," she says, "I need that app." And they're actually renting a car here at the moment. And so she's hoping she's able to tow her vehicle. I said, "Well, you're a good Sam member, right?" She says, "Yes." I said, "Just go into their website. They actually have all the back issues to like 1990 of all of the towable vehicles from each year, and whether it has to be a stick shift, whether it has to be an automatic, are you able to flat tow it? Is there any speed restrictions on there? Are you only allowed to drive it for tow it for a certain amount of distance? Then when you get to like a rest area, you have to pull in and you have to do something like starting the car up and let it run for about 5 minutes." There's also, based on the type of car that you want to tow, it tells you in there, can you tow that vehicle? It tells you these vehicles can be flat towed, and these are the special circumstances. The only ones that have none of that is like a Jeep Wrangler stick shift. Sorry, I just saw something go flying across the window and then realized it was a bird. It was just my peripheral vision. And so the Jeep Wrangler is the most popular tow vehicle because you don't really need to do anything to it. You just put the tow kit on it, you've got the braking system inside, you put it in neutral, and basically you just go. Some other ones have a little more of a complicated setup. Some are a pretty easy setup. There's very few automatics that you can do that way. But I have my friend in San Diego who is an auto broker looking for a towable vehicle for me to see if he can find one, so that I can get a flat tow vehicle for behind here. Because you can't, and when you're flat towing, which is all four wheels on the ground, when you flat tow, which are all four wheels on the ground, you can't reverse your vehicle. So if you get into a situation where you have to reverse the vehicle, you have to get out, disconnect the car, move the car, turn the RV around, drive the car around in the back of the RV, hook everything back up and go. It does some damage to the car if you try and back up with it. So yeah, it's not designed to be backed up with. But anyway, all fun and games. So got to meet one of my new neighbours, had a great conversation with her till her husband arrived back with the propane, and then she backed him in and they got all set up again, and everything's good. So had a great day, and we will be doing some more sorting on Sunday, but not as much. I just got my office area stuff, which is on the seat opposite me, in a box underneath the table here, and all the stuff that's on it, because I got to get some of this up into the top lockers up here, which is where it goes when I travel. So it's just a matter of putting things away, is all it is. So we'll be doing some more stuff like that tomorrow. So tomorrow it's laundry, put stuff away, visit with my friend Judy to go see her photos from Africa, and that's basically it. That'll be for Serenity Sunday. So Serenity Sunday is going to be a little busy, but that's okay, because I think next weekend I have nothing on. I was supposed to have something on next weekend, but I got moved. So I think next weekend I get a free weekend as well. Yay! But anyway, have a super fantastic, sparkling rest of your evening of Shake It Up Saturday. What Shake It Up stuff did you get up to today? How did you shake your Saturday up? Just leave it in the notes, in the comments below, so we can see how you are shaking up your Saturdays. And we will see you back tomorrow morning for Serenity Sunday. Hei konera.